welcome to my podcast, Spiritual Quest, with me, your host, Vibeke Garnos, always guided by Spirit. I am very excited to share my gift with you and empower you to embrace your gift. So if you define yourself as a spiritual human being, then you've come to the right place. So prepare yourself now for an amazing journey where your soul will lead the way. I invite you now to open your heart, ignite your passion in life, and start living with grace and gratitude by allowing your soul to speak. A warm welcome to you. I wonder if you've ever felt a strong connection to a complete stranger without ever having met them before. This has actually happened to me on several occasions, and I believe that everything happens for a reason. In the Channel of Love episode, I share an amazing story about how I was guided by Spirit and connected with a familiar soul during my Life Between Lives hypnotherapy training back in 2012. And today, I'm excited and honored to have my friend, regression specialist and author Paul Williamson as my very first podcast guest. He is born in Australia, but at the age of 24, he left Australia to live in the New Age community called the Finhorn Foundation. He started his hypnotherapy training in 1988, published his first book in 1999, and since then he has published several spiritual books, and today he's back in his mother country of Australia, where he is continuing his wonderful work as an author and spiritual teacher, helping people into their hearts. Join me now as I sit down to have a soul-to-soul, heart-to-heart conversation with my friend, Paul. Hello, Paul, and welcome to Spiritual Quest. How are you?
Well, I'm very well, thank you, Vibeke. It's wonderful to see you. I was just complimenting about how well you are looking and all the beautiful and fantastic work that you've been doing in recent times. Greetings from Australia to you.
Isn't it wonderful that we can sit here and connect? I'm in Norway, you're in Australia, and here we are, soul to soul, and connecting face to face.
Yes, it is wonderful.
It's wonderful. Really well, Paul, I am really, really excited, and I feel humble and blessed to have you on my podcast. You're my friend. Remember our first meeting, soul to soul in England?
Yes, it was an amazing situation when we were both going to the Life Between Lives training, and we had to team up with somebody, and I straight away felt very drawn to team up with you. And then you told me afterwards that you'd had this intuition or psychic sense that you were going to team up with a man called Paul. And there I was, and I wanted to team up with you. We both wanted to team up with each other, and it was quite extraordinary. And I really felt during that whole week that we were meant to be together. We were meant to work together and to do this training together and to investigate inside of ourselves about who we were as souls. It was wonderful.
Thank you for mentioning that, because that is, like I told you prior to this, that I really did feel a deep connection with you. And I know from my experience in life that I'm not the most open person with a stranger, and specifically a male, just meeting one. And it was so different with you. It was some connection on a deep level. And I felt very comfortable and just discovering and taking that journey inward and starting that spiritual quest in a more profound way, that changed my life, Paul, and you were part of that. So you have a big place in my heart, and I want you to know that.
Well, I suppose we were there to do spiritual work, so that was a focus. And we discovered that actually, as far as our own inner connection was concerned, we had not really met each other in physical lives on earth before, but our bond was spiritual, that we did spiritual work together, when we're not on earth.
Well, I'm wanting to talk to you and connect again. It's been a while. It's been a few years now since we saw each other in physical
Yes.
here
Well,
in
you very
Norway.
kindly invited me to Norway, which was very interesting for me just to witness the wonderful work that you're doing, and so many lovely souls that are working with you, that are training with you, and awakening to their own spiritual gifts. And it seemed that I came at quite an important moment of commemoration, of how things were progressing for you with your academy. So congratulations on all of that. You've been doing extraordinarily well. And
Thank you.
and and I know from what I know of you spiritually, this is your work. You're doing right right on tune with what you're here to do, which is marvelous.
Well, thank you so much. And now I'm very interested in hearing about how in tune you are with your work because you moved to Australia, Paul. Would you like to just share a little bit about your personal spiritual quest? I mean, your story?
Oh, well, it's maybe not as coherent as yours. I mean, I've been a bit all over the place in my life. I've had quite an interesting life, and I guess I've had my own personal issues to have to work through as well. But I feel for me, when I was about 18, um, I think a pivotal moment for me was going to a camp for children who had asthma. And I went to these 10-day camps for about 5 years in a row. They were in Australia. And I found that when I went to these camps and I worked with these children, that I loved being with them and I loved helping them. And I found that the more I helped these children, the more energy I got from it. And it seemed to give me a great joy in my heart. And that was really like a time of awakening for me when I realized that my path in life is to help other people. That was what I wanted to do.
And how
And,
old were you?
oh, I was about 18 and I was so shy. At that time, I was so shy that even picking up a telephone to talk to other people was difficult for me. I was very self-conscious and had no knowledge of other people. But I mean, that's changed, obviously.
Yes. But then again, I think you finding that out at the age of 18, being a shy kid, and then pursuing that. What, how did you do that?
Oh, well, my development through life has had many different stages. Some of them have been really inspiring and easy. Some of them have been very challenging for me. I've been through some times in my life where I've been through the pits, and really quite a lot of that has been, of my own doing. I can admit that. But hopefully I've learned, some things as I've gone along. Um, but yes, oh well, let's see. I mean, I went to the Fintorn Foundation in Scotland. That was wonderful. A very heartfelt community setting
Mhm.
where I met people from all over the world. And I trained there to lead personal development workshops, which again, I loved doing. I just went to this Fintorn Foundation and they needed someone to be with the guests every week and look after them and do personal development processes. And I volunteered every week. And no one else wanted to do that. Other people were quite content to just hide away in their bedrooms and not have too much to do with guests because they wanted their own space. But I just did it. I don't know. I did it for probably over a year, and I just loved it
Well, I
because
love hearing that because, like you said, you defined yourself as a shy kid, and here you are meeting the guests and leading them in self-discovery. That's
yes, and
amazing.
that's it. And that's where I started to find my confidence as well, that I could help people and listen to people.
So, what
And
would you say you took out of being at Finhorn Community? What was the greatest lessons for you there, would you say?
well, probably the greatest one was about the need for human beings to open their hearts to each other. to open their hearts, and that we are all connected on a deeper level. We are all connected with love. And I think that was the deepest and most profound learning. And just that, somewhere inside of myself, I had a calling of what I needed to do in my life. And it didn't matter what society dictated, what society told me I should do, or how I needed to fit in with this or that. I needed to be brave enough to do what was my calling and live my life that way and no other way. I did find confidence and strength to be able to do that through the Finton Foundation. It was an amazing time in my life.
I have a question for you when it comes to your calling. I mean, how did you know it was your calling?
Um, I feel, again, as I've already alluded to you, it gave joy in my heart. And you see, so many people in this world do work that they don't really want to be doing. They maybe do it for the money, or they do it out of a duty because they feel they should. But this isn't really enough for us. For us to live true to our soul, we need to do what we truly love and apply ourselves to that. And we're all unique spiritual beings. We're all unique souls. And we have a path that is true to us that we need to find. And when we live according to that, even if it's difficult, then that's the best. And for me, I've had challenges. I've had challenges because the values I've adopted, haven't always fitted in with my family. I haven't always fitted in with the society around me at all. But I've stuck at it, and I'm glad I have. I'm glad that I've come through challenges to live my life and to feel that for me to help people, it's like the universe has responded, and the universe gives me people that need my help, and I'm able to go to different places, and this happens, and I just got to trust that God or Spirit is giving to me what I need to do my work, and that's what's the right thing for me to do.
That's very powerful. Allowing yourself to be guided and trusting in that's life transforming. But it's not always easy, like you said. You've had your hardship, right? And I just wondered, for the listeners going through hardship and feeling kind of lost in life, how did you manage to build that trust to move forward?
Well, I went through some dark patches in my life. I think the shadow side of my time when I was at the Finton Foundation was that I felt that I could do anything really, and I didn't really have a very realistic view of my limits, and so I did not really listen to things which were not okay for me to do. So I guess. I don't want to say too much, but my second marriage, for instance, was a disaster. And from that, I found myself going into a time of inner darkness for myself, where I needed to just somehow sort myself out as well as sorting out other people, and just come to realize how I needed to respect those close to me. Because I think in my path, yes, I could be a good therapist. I could do things to help others and apply myself to that. That was the easy part. But for me to be true also to my more personal self and the vulnerabilities and hurts and sensitivity and wants and all the different things, even sort of like selfishness, jealousies, all sorts of things, that has been much harder work for me to do. And, at times I've also needed help to start to, overcome my own shadow side so I could be a better person and be someone who could be at peace with myself. And I can say to you, I mean, I still have days when I might feel lonely, or where I'm, making, not very nice to somebody, and all of these things. But, I guess that's how we live too. Every day has its challenges. And it's for us, for me, not just with my work, but with my personal life, to do the very best that I can. So I can practice, what I feel inside as my values, that I can love and respect, and do my best to support those that are around me.
I appreciate so much your honesty. And I believe that being transparent and authentic in the work that we do, and really sharing that we are just human beings trying to figure out our own path, trying to facilitate our soul purpose in a loving way for all life. And it's not easy. I mean, that's why we're here, right? To learn and to evolve and expand. And it's an exciting time if we can bring it into this consciousness shift that we are going through. So, how are you finding your way in this new era, this new shift?
Oh, well, you know, I, in many ways, don't think about it that much, even though I write books on the subjects, of that shift that might be there. Because I'm writing a book, or that nearly completed a book called The Division, which really is putting out that there is a great division in the consciousness of humanity at the moment, which could lead who knows where. But I more concentrate on what's immediately in front of me as far as what I do. And this year, of course, we have the coronavirus, which is kind of causing havoc all over the world. It's very interesting, though, because it's a global phenomenon. That means that all of us from all over the world, we are having to cope with this in, lockdowns here, there, and everywhere, and just having to deal with this. But it's interesting because then it's something that we share as a whole humanity. We're going through this. How do we cope with this? What do we do with this? And I think that's a very good sign of the shift. One humanity, that we are all connected deep in our souls. There is love that connects us together. And we need to find that love. We need to feel that sense of connection, not only with other human beings, but with the planet itself, with all life forms. The animals, the plants, the planet itself, even other worlds. We're all connected. There is a living force that unites us in love, and that's what we need to awaken to. But I think, for me, on a practical level with this coronavirus, I've found that the emphasis of my work in just recent times has been really just to help people to be open with their hearts, because it's not an easy time. It's very testing. It's a testing time where people are being pushed into themselves. And some people can go into despair, can go into difficult states with this. But I think it's very important for people, just at this time especially, to have their hearts open, to know that we're not alone, that we are connected. There is this sense of inspiration that we can find through connectedness, which, if enough of us open to that, can help our humanity move to somewhere better. And that's what we've got to aim for.
Thank you. I love that. And it really does inspire and empower me on my journey as we are connected and we are trying to serve something greater and to just bring that unconditional love out into the world and try to live by example, even though that's not always easy, especially in these times. But I think being authentic and transparent about that as well, that life is difficult, but as long as we just seek that love within, we're going to make it. We're going to make it.
Yes. Well, I feel, the first element, which is very important, is our intention. And our intention somehow puts our will with our intuition and with our heart. And if our intention is something where we feel peace deep in ourselves, then it's right. And that's what we need to do. You know, there are people, you know, who have lots of different ways that they can help. Some people will help by by planting trees. Other people will help by maybe, you know, working as a nurse or a doctor in a hospital. You know, some people will help if they've got money, they might give some money to somebody that really needs it,
Mhm.
or talks to people and try to console them, or maybe even help a sick relative that needs support there. There's so many different ways. It doesn't need to be, you know, that you become a great teacher, you know, with thousands of followers or anything. It's really just about doing what is there for you to do,
Mhm.
and just listening each day. Well, what am I to do today? What is there in front of me that I need to do today? And do it. You know, put your intention with your heart and do what is there in front of you. However humble, however simple, however grand, sometimes you need to take a risk. You need to feel, well, you know, this is needed and I haven't done this before. How can I possibly find the courage to do this? But then if you do it, it might help you to grow, and it might help others in a way that you haven't even anticipated. And you might not even know either. Because sometimes with giving, with our intentions, with how we serve, we don't know, you know, the impact that that has. You know, we can just be ourselves and do the best we can. And then, you know, hopefully something good will come of it.
Wonderful. I love that. Thank you. And let me just ask you that question then. So, what's your intention? What do you want to do now, here and now?
Oh, well, I do take one day at a time. I mean, for me, I've got someone, her name is Dee, who's teamed up with me. We've got a project together which we call Soul Pathways, where our ideal and wish is to help people to awaken to who they are as souls. And we're doing that in lots of different ways, through online workshops, through online sessions. I mean, there's everything's got to be online at the moment. Um, but that's work that I'm ongoing doing, developing new ways that this can happen. That's my work, and writing my books, of course. I've got 2 books that I'm writing, just finishing just at the moment, which I want to get done, and another one after that. So it feels to me like my creativity is very much to the fore at the moment. I can tell you, Rebecca, when I wake up every day, I feel urgency. I
Mm.
feel there's so much to do. And I've got to just do every day as much as I can with what's there in front of me. You know, there's not time to waste.
I love that you're saying this. Yesterday, I was meeting with my community and they said the same thing. And I feel the same thing. So every morning I wake up and I try to stay on purpose with a pure and clear intention on how I want to serve. And I feel that urgency as well. Do you think that it's a global thing, a form of consciousness that we're awakened to, and that spirit is letting us know that there is an emergency? It is urgency to connect and reconnect, to
Well,
facilitate our soul
my
path.
own belief about this, Vibeke, I do not take for granted that the shift is going to happen. You know, it really can happen if enough human beings make the step. But
Mhm.
if they don't, it's not going to happen. And our planet and our life here is drifting into a state where it could be terrible. We could just completely destroy the place just through our selfishness and our greed and our abuse. But that's a choice, whether we go that way or not. We really all face that choice now in our lives. And I guess it is urgent, because this is a time now when we're vulnerable with this virus going around and what have you. We're vulnerable, and it's a time when people could awaken, where people could start to shift inside themselves. It's a personal thing with that needs enough souls to do it. So, yeah, I think that describes why I feel all this.
So, what's your hope in this that's going on? I know it resonates. I mean, it's in your words what you're hoping for, but what's feeding your soul every day?
Well, to be honest, I don't want to put too much in terms of, oh, the future is going to be this or the future could be that. I'm willing to be surprised. And certainly with something like this virus this year, who could have thought that this would have happened just like this? Although, I don't know, there have been some predictions. But life is a surprise every day. It's very unpredictable. Who knows what might just come in? And it's something which goes beyond us. And it's like, this is where I feel a need to be humble. That I'm a human being. I feel I am being true to myself as well as I can, but there are greater forces in operation, and these greater forces, faith and trust, and just go with, each day, with what it brings to us. That's what I believe. But yes, my hope is for a better world. My hope is for a world where we do respect the environment, where we restore forests and we clean our oceans and we honor the animals that are with us, that we find ecological ways of living, where we do cooperate together, where we find different values from capitalism. So I don't think capitalism works because that's just based on greed and getting better than someone else. And when no one is better than anyone else, we need to find ways how we can work together, where we can work out things, where we can sense that we do belong together, that there is a place, and that, if you're a Norwegian woman and I'm an Australian man, that there is some connection we can make. And that's valuable, and our souls somehow meet inside. And everybody's soul really meets inside if we open to that. So this planet could be a beautiful place for us all to live in. And, but that comes down to love, and it comes down to a kind of spiritual love. And just for us to know that we are spiritual beings. We're not just a lump of, flesh that sort of just, wants to get rich and own some land that we can never really own, and do all these things to make our ego feel powerful and what have you. That's not what life is about. It's got nothing to do with the life that we need to live. That's how we can go in the direction of making things better.
Well said. Very well said. Talk a little bit about your books. You said you're having 2 books come out. So you mentioned Division, and what's the second book?
Oh, yes. Well, I've had some books recently. I've been writing quite a bit recently. So I had one, Earth Warrior, which you know about, and there was one, Rana, which I really like, which is about child. It's a child. And the next one is The Division, and that's where there is this division of consciousness. It is a story, but it brings up so many elements about the wrenching of our soul, about which ways we can go forward and what we can do and how important it is at the moment. And it has outcomes which are very, very heart-wrenching in this book. So it's going to be a very powerful book for people to read. People are going to have to really concentrate and it will bring up things inside. But I feel it's really good for this time. And it was interesting with the Earth Warrior book, because in that book, in the second part of the book, it talked about a virus coming and just about taking over the world, where everything, just about died. So much, and that was before Donald Trump became president. So it was interesting. So I don't know how things from The Division will play out, but I'm really happy that I've written that, and I hope that there'll be some people that will take an interest.
I'm sorry, just when can we expect the book to come out?
Oh, hopefully in a few months. I
Okay.
mean, it's just getting final editing now, and it's got to get a cover typesetting, and I hope that it will come out in a few months. It will be published in Australia, but I hope I can get it out and about a bit. That would be wonderful.
It was so lovely to have you on, Paul. I would talk forever with you, but time is short, right? So there's an urgency. We have to move on. And I hope that I can have you on my podcast again on a later date. Follow up on your books.
Yes, well, it's been a privilege, Rebecca, and with someone that I regard so highly and feel such a kinship with on a soul level. I really appreciate you giving me this chance to talk and to connect with you. Thank you. And with all your audience as well. And I wish all of your audience every peace and inspiration for their paths as well.
Thank you so much, Paul, and many blessings on your journey moving forward. And thank you for doing such an amazing job in supporting all humanity and all life. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Rebecca.
Do you feel that there is something holding you back from fulfilling your life purpose and you just don't know why? Or do you feel stuck in life, not knowing how to move forward to create the life your heart and soul desire? If you're ready to embrace your personal spiritual quest with me, your host, Vibeke Garnos, then get on my wait list for my 12-week spiritual quest journey, which is open for registration right now. More details to be found in the episode summary. It's time to listen to what you have to say in this Q&A section. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. It takes courage and strength to put yourself out there, and I'm grateful for your willingness to share your questions with the world. Now, let's dive right in. Question number 1. Who exactly is Zarius? Is he an angel? Is he religious-based? To be able to answer this question, it's essential that you understand and accept that everything is energy, and that energy vibrates on different frequencies. We, as humans, on the physical plane, is what I would describe being far away from soul home, which means tuning into lower frequencies, encompassed within dimensions, to learn and expand our light through the human experience. Zarius is a high-frequency energy, a part of the source, or God if you wish, just like you and I, but the energy is purer in light and becomes a guiding light to help souls far away from home, just like an angel. So yes, you may say that Zarius is an angel helping souls on their journey to be a free spirit. He helps you stay connected to your light, the essence of the source, divine power, or God, by reminding you of who you are and why you are here on earth today. There is no gender, but it's the masculinity of the energy that Zarius encompasses that is what is transmitted through me as I channel. I want to end with a message that Zarius channeled through me back in 2013. You humans use too many descriptions to describe the same power. It is the experience of using the power that everyone has in them which is essential for the manifestation and the experience of these intentions. On a soul's journey, we are all one. In spirit, we are all alike. In knowing this, there is no discrimination. I'm going to leave it right here, and for you to have your personal experience with spirit. I want to point out that this is my understanding of what I, as a channel, have been given, and I know how limiting words can be if they are presented or received in a state of fear. My intention is only to share love and light through my gift as a channel and serve something greater by being a channel of love. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions about today's episode or any other episode, then why don't you share them with me? I will do my best to answer as many as possible in my upcoming Q&A section of this podcast series. You can find my contact information in the episode summary. It's been amazing to connect with Paul and hear about his personal spiritual quest and how he is serving through his soul purpose. If you would like to connect with Paul and have him support you on your soul's journey, then you will find Paul's contact information in the episode summary. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to share my soul purpose with you. I hope you enjoyed listening to Spiritual Quest with me, your host, Vibeke Garnos. And if you did, I would be grateful if you would share it with the world. Let's stay connected and join me in the next episode when I'll be talking about your energy output and how it never lies. Like always, I'll be totally transparent and authentic with you, and I'll be sharing my aura reading with Jamie Ann Elder at the Center for the New Age in Sedona, Arizona. And if you're interested in learning more about the high frequency energies I channel, then remember to tune in next week. Thank you for listening. Sending you love and light from me, your host, Vibeke Garnos, always guided by spirit.